Hello again from my front porch. This one actually, I hope it has a positive feel to it, but it's a heavier topic than I normally like to address. But sometimes life isn't always just yay, woohoo, yeah. Sometimes you have to deal with the other things that life throws at you too, and this is definitely one of those times. Earlier this week, back Monday on Labor Day, a good friend of mine, Jack Arthur, husband of my bestie Tara, had significant breathing issues. That was the initial problem. He had some trouble breathing, and they wound up calling the ambulance, and he was taken there in the early morning hours. Apparently in the ambulance had a heart attack that they were able to use the paddles and take care of it. But after he got to the hospital, had another heart attack, and on that one he was it took him 15 minutes to revive him. Then it sounds like even after that, after they hooked him up stuff, he may have had a couple more. Details a little sketchy. I don't have all of that stuff. But over the next several days, I did spend a lot of time at the hospital with Tara, and Jack's sister Kim came up from Oklahoma as well, and then ultimately there were some other friends and family folks that came in too. Not Tara's daughter, Jack's stepdaughter, Danita. She's got developmental challenges, and those. We talked amongst ourselves that it was probably not best for her to see him in that condition, because she and Jack had spent a lot of time having fun on Sunday, and it made more sense for them to hold on to that, for her to hold on to those memories rather than see him like he was there. And the prognosis went back and forth as far as whether he was going to recover or not, if he had a chance or not. And then sadly, then here the middle of the week the decision was done. And he was made comfortable, and Jack passed away. And I've continued to be supportive and helpful, helping write his obituary and those kind of things. But the purpose of this video is not just to talk about that. It's because even at that, Jack and Tara weren't the only ones that were experiencing things like that. My good friend Steve Roberts, who runs Pie 5 Pizza up in Ankeny, he had a very good friend who was in a serious motorcycle accident here in Des Moines that cost a life. He's got a young girl that works for her named Star. Star's mom was in a car accident with her fiance, and her fiance died. And as far as I know, her mom might still be in the hospital. But so that was happening. At the same time, a good friend of mine, Penny, was down. Her dad was being hospitalized and with pain and kind of being jerked around a bit as far as when they were going to do the surgery. And I shared about that previously. But still, there's all the concern about that. And then I began to see about other people that were posting, asking for thoughts and prayers and support for individuals that were facing similar kinds of struggles. And I thought, wow. And my first reaction was, man, why is all this happening at one time? But that's not really the important question, because there is no rhyme or reason to why things happen like that when they do. As human beings, our brains, we like to understand things. We like to make sense out of stuff. That's why as archaeologists dig up stuff, they'll get a few shards of pottery and a tooth and something, and from those things they'll describe to us what this entire culture was like and what probably led to their downfall. Okay, maybe some of that's accurate, but a lot of it's really stretching, but our brains want to do that. We get a few pieces, and we want to fill in the rest of it, and so we start to see patterns where patterns may not even exist. And just because several tragedies are happening around you at the same time doesn't mean there's any reason why. It's unfortunate. But what really then struck me was just how sudden life can end. Another friend of mine lives out in L.A., Antoinette. She has a friend still living here in Des Moines who was diagnosed with terminal cancer and is going to be passing away. And he's just barely, I don't even think he's 40 from what she said. He might just be in his 40s, but still, young fellow. And I've known kids, I've known teenagers that have gotten cancer and have passed away. And of course we know of children who are killed in car accidents and other tragedies and things. It's not a question of understanding those things. To me, it's really more about the challenge of us appreciating the life that we have and the people around us. We can get so distracted by petty things. By well, I can't believe she said that. Well, did you know that she stole my recipe? Or did you know that he did this? I loaned him money and he never paid me that money back. Well, I'm never talking to him ever again. I'll just, and we do those kind of things. Now, sometimes it's necessary. The whole tough love thing. You gotta distance yourself from those that would cause you harm. But a lot of times it's really just because we're petty, just because we're hurt, and so we want to lash out. We want to hurt the other person too by ignoring them, by pushing them away, by treating them badly. This sudden flood of tragedies for people all around me, number one, make me appreciative of those who are in my life. But also really challenges me to do a better job about maintaining those relationships, about letting the people in my life know they're important, that they matter, that I care about them. I may not be able to spend time with them 24/7, all of them, that's impossible, but I can show more attention than maybe I have. It's easy to get zoned on, this is what I have to do, this is what my tasks today are, this is what's going on in my life, and that's my focus. A lot to be said from keeping a good focus on things, but we shouldn't do it with the blinders on. We shouldn't exclude the reality of the people around us, and that's my takeaway from the tragedies of this week. Jack doesn't even want a funeral. He specifically said he didn't want a funeral or a memorial service. He wants a celebration of life. And so next Saturday, the 14th, is when we'll be doing that down in Indianola. But he specifically doesn't want anyone mourning his passing. He wants people sharing stories about what a great guy he was, about how he was so positive, how he's so happy, how he helped people, how he influenced people, sharing memories and photos and all this kind of stuff. And I admire that. I feel the same way. I would like that as well. And so that's kind of my takeaway. This isn't a well thought out one. It's not like I sat down and scripted this in advance, but I've just really been impressed with that concept of celebrating life and celebrating what people mean to us and doing it before either they or myself are gone, because then what's the point? So that's my challenge to show it more to people around me, and I would challenge you to do the same. And if you've got somebody that has been in your life, whether it's an actual relative or a friend or whoever, but you have someone in your life that at one point was significant and meant a great deal to you, and for some reason you've gone separate ways, and maybe you don't even really know why, or maybe you do know why, but it was that one stupid little thing. I'm going to challenge you to reconsider that, to get over it. Just let it go. Be like those billy goats that we've talked about before, where the billy goats meet on the ledge, and sometimes they'll butt horns to see who's going to win, but eventually one of them will literally lay down on the ground and allow the other one to walk across them so that they can both get up and continue on their way. None of us likes to be the one to just lay down and let someone else walk on them. And that's where those petty divisions come in. But what's really more important? Who gets to go, or letting the other person know that you care about them? Maintaining the relationships that you really care about. So, as I said, heavier front porch one, but one that I think is necessary for us to really think about from time to time, to be reminded of that we need to not be petty. We need to embrace life. We need to embrace those around us. And with that, I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.